I'm Natalie Four. I graduated from NC State in 2015. So right after undergrad, I started grad school at Meredith College down the street, and I was actually working with NC State sports nutrition program as a graduate assistant. So during those 2 years I was in grad school, getting all my coursework done for my master's as well as for my DPD credits, which is what you need to be eligible to participate in a dietetic internship, which then can get you your RD credential. I was also doing that coursework while learning under a sports dietitian and getting a lot of practical hours and experience through that. I am currently working on finding a job and studying for my exam. I'm working part-time at Duke Raleigh Hospital. I'm in the diet office there, just to keep myself busy and active in the field still. I just finished my dietetic internship in October of 2018. That dietetic internship is 1,200 plus supervised hours, which is what you need to sit for the exam. And so that's really what's prepared me for my next steps in my career. Before I started my internship for about 8 months, I worked for a company actually that's located on Centennial campus doing corporate wellness for them. And during that time, I learned a lot about community nutrition and just a different setting of community nutrition, though. So it was in the workplace, and the way that the world is now, people are busy and work long hours. It's not just 40 hours a week anymore. So finding ways to incorporate healthy lifestyles into your workday was something that I was focused on. And that actually has helped me a lot in preparing for looking for a job now, and has opened a lot of doors just through the connections I made there. So right now, at my job, I'm currently working with, it's called an ambassador role, and so basically I'm going into patient rooms and taking orders, but also explaining to them their different diet protocols. So when you're in the hospital, especially if you have diabetes or some sort of cardiovascular disease, or maybe you're in there for surgery, there's different diet protocols for that, and so we're explaining to the patients what that looks like and what that means and how they can eat within their restrictions. So it's a lot of patient interaction as well as explaining, especially with like new diabetics or any sort of new diagnosis. Diabetes just happens to be the most prevalent. You're explaining to their friends and family kind of what that looks like for them once they leave the hospital, because a lot of them just don't understand what that means. So it's a lot of nutrition education day to day in the hospital, and then as well as some like behind the scenes work, working in the kitchen with the kitchen staff and helping them understand what they need to do in order to give accurate like trays and things like that to the patients. I definitely learned that I love people. I think going into undergrad, I wasn't really sure. I was really interested in science, and I knew that was kind of where I wanted to be, and nutrition ended up being what I really loved out of this, the different life sciences. But being able to work in my grad assistantship, and I was working with not just athletes, but with the coaching staff and with other disciplines, so like sports psychology or sports medicine. I learned that I really enjoyed those interactions with people and getting to teach them and then to learn from them as well, like their discipline and how we can work together to better our athlete, which that can apply to any nutrition profession. You're trying to help people overall be healthier, reach their full potential if they're an athlete. So I saw that I just really enjoyed that human interaction component. Definitely completing my internship. So it was 1,200 plus hours. It took me about 10. It was 10 months long to complete, and I was all over the southeast. So I was in North Carolina for a little bit, down in Georgia. I worked at Ole Miss for a little bit, which actually was a connection that I had. A boss that I had at NC State when I was an undergrad now works at Ole Miss, and I was able to connect with her and work with her for the whole summer doing research. And then I was in Texas for a little bit as well. So getting to see a lot of different areas and do a lot of different projects for a long time was definitely very proud of that. I think I would have been more open to a variety of opportunities, especially as an undergrad. I think I was heavily focused on sports nutrition because I found that first and fell in love with it, and kind of clung to it versus being a little bit more open-minded to some other opportunities. I like dipped my toe in it in other places, but I didn't dive in, which I wish I would have maybe dove into a couple other areas as well versus being so heavily focused on one thing. After the fact, I've realized there's other areas I like just as much. every opportunity is a good one, even if you don't think so in the moment. Even the volunteer positions or jobs or little things that you may not think are great at the time can be really useful later on. Some of my most unusual jobs and little volunteer things I've done, I've met some really interesting people that have later on been contacts. I think really that's what you can take away from any situation is the people you meet, because everyone's connected some way, especially in the nutrition world. It's very small in the triangle, so you never know who knows who.